Hello, hello everybody. It's nice to see everybody again. So my name is Laura Minkowski, and I'm an international life and relationship coach. I coach in English, Spanish, Finnish, and Italian. I'm not an astrologer, but I know a lot about astrology. That's why I give these talks. So today I'm going to talk about the new moon in Sagittarius with a solar eclipse, which is happening on the 4th of December. So this is a powerful one, and we just had two weeks ago we had the full moon in Taurus with the lunar eclipse. So these past 2 weeks we've been in an eclipse season, and you've probably had two very intense weeks, because the weeks between two eclipses tend to be very intense, and they tend to be full of changes and transformations. So this new moon solar eclipse is bringing big changes once again, right? So there's a powerful new moon total solar eclipse in Sagittarius, which taking place on the 4th of December, and it's going to provide more than enough weekend entertainment for all of us in a good way. So while eclipses are often strikingly intense, the upcoming lunation on December 4th is bringing a much more positive, optimistic tone to the astrological world. So that's a good thing to remember. That this new moon in Sagittarius with an eclipse is positive and optimistic, right? So forget about New Year's resolutions. Now is the season to focus on your eclipse epiphanies. I love that. Instead of the New Year's resolution, think about what are your eclipse epiphanies? Like, what are your eclipse insights? So the astrology of this eclipse is about an ending of a chapter, and it's asking you to let go of the things we are trying to control, or releasing things that we have outgrown, right? So eclipses are all about changes, right? And the new moon is all about new beginnings. So it's about letting go of something that's not serving you to make room for something new to come in. And it's also full of changes because of the eclipse. So new moon eclipses tend to be seen as a chance to make positive changes. But the nearness of this one to Mercury and its positioning in Sagittarius gives if you believe in yourself, anything is possible vibe, right? So it's really important to believe in yourself, and anything is possible now. Sagittarius is it's a fire sign, and it's about going after the things that you really want. So in essence, we're being asked to free ourselves from anything that is not connected to the core of our most authentic and spiritual selves. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. There's a distinctly hopeful mood to this new moon solar eclipse, thanks to the influence of Sagittarius, a sign which is ruled by the lucky planet of Jupiter. And like Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Jupiter is the biggest of the planets, and it's the lucky planet as well. So Sagittarius is a sign of the higher mind that focuses on expansion and the big picture. That's another good thing to remember about Sagittarius. It's about expansion and the big picture as well. So during this lunation, we get cosmic permission to think big and feel optimistic about our future growth and all its possibilities. Right now, the world is quite literally our oyster. So ask yourself, what would you try out if no one could tell you no? Envision it and then go do it. So Sagittarius and Jupiter like to do things in a big way, right? So now it's a time to think really big. Think really big. What kind of things do you want to do in life? So go big with a plan, and you will have a good chance at accomplishing something worthwhile. So while eclipses can open and close doors, That's another thing with eclipses. They open and they open and they close doors. It's more useful to plan on surrendering to the universe's plans during this time, rather than on harnessing the energy of the lunation to push through your own plans. As many of us know, the universe's plans for us are often bigger and better than anything we can dream up for ourselves. So pay attention to what's naturally being brought into your life or taken out of it, and work on letting it happen. You know, sometimes the universe has, you know, a bigger plan for us that we don't even realize, you know, that is there, right? So this is basically saying, you know, pay attention to the signs. So this eclipse also marks the end of a cycle that began in early June 2020, when the first eclipse in Sagittarius took place. Since this is the last eclipse that will occur in the sign of the Archer in many years, we are closing a cycle that began back then. So think back to what was happening in your life in June 2020. The major themes are, for the very first Sag eclipse, were revolution and anger. Two things that were undoubtedly prominent in the thick of the pandemic and during the protests aimed at fighting racial inequality, police brutality, and systemic racism in the United States. Since then, how have you used those emotions to create meaningful change? Have you put in effort to make the world a better, more equitable place? You know, and this is something that I talk about all the time. You know, it's important to think about, you know, what are you doing on a daily basis to create a better world, right? Because we're all of us are creating this world, you know, every day with our thoughts, our words, and our actions. So I think that it's really important to think about, you know, what kind of energy are you putting out into the world, and what are you doing to make the world a better place, and think about, yeah, what kind of world do you want to live in? Do you want to live in a divided world, or do you want to live in a unified world? Although we're rounding out this eclipse cycle on a positive note, it's still important to ask yourself these questions and be truthful with your answers. If you are disappointed in them, vow to work harder in 2022. So in other planetary news, this particular solar eclipse in Sagittarius aligns with Mercury and Saturn. It's also sharing a minor frustration with Uranus, the planet of rebellion. So this is giving us the drive and power to move away from the constructs that have been holding us back. It's bringing a major release as we move towards the next vision. There's also the involvement of Neptune, the planet of dreams, which just went direct. Neptune went direct the 1st of December. And this is very significant because Neptune was retrograde for like 5 months. So, and the asteroid Vesta, which gives this lunation a very, you know, spiritual, you know, deep spiritual nature. So while Neptune's influence can be confusing due to all the Sagittarius planets forming a square to it, we can use it to attune to this planet's higher vibration and inspirational energy. So approaching Neptune's energy means focusing on activities like meditation, visualization, and creative pursuits. And if 2021 has been a particularly brain foggy year for you, these practices are even more important to try out. So release, freedom, and change. This is what the new moon total eclipse is gifting us with. The end of this eclipse season is a good time to separate truth from illusion, liberate yourself from outdated beliefs, and to welcome in beneficial change. Although we might not know what's in store for us, we do have the power to set our own course, or at least to embrace it. Okay, so now I'm going to go through the different signs and how the different signs will be impacted by this new moon in Sagittarius with a solar eclipse. So for Aries, so this month's new moon brings up things to learn more, to open up your world, be more adventurous, step out of your comfort zone. You might get involved with the world of media, whether it's social media or TV or the movies. But you might also become a warrior fighting for justice and equality. There's a lot of people in the world fighting for justice and equality right now. Exploring your beliefs and spirituality can deepen now too. You might decide to write a screenplay or novel or become a social media influencer. And this lunar energy gives you the push, to get plus a 6-month window to achieve your aims. With an eclipse in tow, you might not yet have all the ideas or all the answers to what may be the next step in your destiny. So expect some surprises and perhaps some deviations on the kind of journey that you begin this month. So that's Aries. For Taurus, love and money are the targets of this month's new moon for you. It could involve something as straightforward as finding a new stream of finance, perhaps via a side hustle, a loan or an inheritance, or addressing the need to clear up your financial history or rid yourself of debt. You might deepen a relationship to include sharing financial and even physical commitments. If it's not an overnight transformation, so you have to deal with what arises now over a time scale of the next 6 months. You could be on a sexual or financial adventure, but with an eclipse in the mix, not everything will be in plain sight, and there may be strings attached that could make things complicated. So double check all the details or fine print before signing off on anything. Gemini. It's an exciting time for your close relationships now, thanks to the new moon in your partnership zone. The liaisons get a reboot, new connections are likely, and even old feuds have a chance to be overcome and enable peace to be restored now and over the next 6 months. This new moon covers both work and personal partnerships with an added eclipse. It looks like there may be things you weren't aware of about an important person in your life, so you may see them in a new light as a result. It's not a time to go it alone if you can help it, as the desire to be in a dynamic duo is super strong now. Cancer. Your health is up for scrutiny during this month's new moon. December is a busy time of year for you as your nurturing instincts kick in, and you want to be inclusive so that everyone around you is well looked after. Do what it takes to raise your fitness and stamina, but be aware that you can't do everything single-handedly. And with this eclipse in the picture could mean that you don't have all the information that you need to be as effective as you'd like to be anyway. You might get careless and reckless now too, as you try to take on too much and feel overwhelmed. Take this as a learning experience and pace yourself so that you have all the information for the future, not so much of the pressure this month and going forward. Leo. It's a flirtatious and fun new moon for you this month, with the accent on romance and on developing your creative prowess too. You could get carried away with an indiscreet love affair, so be aware that the eclipse that accompanies December's new moon could be concealing vital information about a love interest. Spoken for or not, you could also throw caution to the wind now, and 9 months down the line could have the outcome of your current activities. Heads up, it's a fact that more babies are conceived during the festive season. You might also get more in touch with your own inner child now and feel an urge to learn a new creative talent. Whatever you start under this month's auspicious new moon has the potential to make your upcoming 2022 unexpected but ultimately amazing. Virgo. Your home life gets the benefit of this month's empowering new moon. You might decide to work from home, and this lockdown has given you a taste of what it's like to be running your work-life balance, your own business, chez vous. Teaching or studying from home is also like float your boat now. And if circumstances allow you to travel further afield, you might opt to explore other regions or countries, ideally with a purpose or a goal in mind, not just for pleasure. You might relocate or renovate, though, so be prepared to truly work things out in advance, as it may take the next 6 months or so to complete that ambition. An eclipse in the mix suggests caution rather than recklessness, as while you might be gung-ho to get on with your plans, there may be as yet unrevealed reasons to hold off. Slow down or wait before getting too carried away with a big new adventure. Libra. Your neighborhood could become the new source of inspiration to you now. You might want to volunteer locally and be better connected with the people in your street or apartment block, or offer your services in a way that helps your community but also broadens your experiences too. You might hook up with a new neighbor or get on better with your siblings. A desire to learn something new and do something adventurous without going too far away from home is also likely to be a strong motivator. Before going to extremes, which is also likely with this new moon, check your aims and expectations, as an eclipse in the mix could obscure important facts that mean you may end up having to commit to more obligations than you can sensibly manage. Scorpio. You'll be motivated to make more money now. A stroke of good luck and some extra effort could bring in extra funds so that you can treat yourself and others in style, especially during the seasonal spend frenzy that tends to define December. This is also about your self-worth and a new sense of self-esteem, and your true value in work starts to open up for you now and over the next 6 months. When spending, beware of too good to be true bargains, as this month's eclipse suggests that there's more going on behind the scenes and under the surface than you realize. Take nothing for granted and check the fine print. Invest in quality and not quantity to make the most of this month's luscious lunar energy. Sagittarius. It's all about you now, as December's new moon and eclipse fall in your own sign. That makes it an ideal time for a makeover, both outside and in. You might want to rock a new look, but give time to develop rather than go all out or to extremes. That with the eclipse could concealing vital information you might regret further down the line. Under this lunar influence, you might rush into adventures such as having a radical hairdo ahead of an unexpected but vital interview, or a tattoo that turns out to be inappropriate because you didn't check the spelling. Your sign is known for having a well-developed sense of humor, but hold your horses before making snap decisions now. This new moon also suggests that it could be time for attitude adjustment, to take yourself and others more seriously. So put the added energy you have now into being the real, wise, and wonderful you. Capricorn. Fresh ideas and insights could come to you now, thanks to this month's new moon. Think of it as a clear out of the ways of thinking and a chance to rethink beliefs that have outlived their usefulness. Bad memories, old hurts, and wounds also get a chance to heal now, though it may be more of an ongoing process than an overnight fix. Since there is an eclipse in the mix, this phase is not necessarily about forgetting, as there are lessons to be learned from the past, but it is about forgiving, getting things into perspective, and being able to rewrite your life story and move forward. Spilling secrets or uncovering hidden factors might arise now too, as may a desire for seclusion or to lose yourself by getting involved in helping others. Aquarius. Think big and get some ambitions underway while you have the extra support from December's new moon. This is the ideal time to expand your social and work circles, so use the festive period for business as well as pleasure. Who you know may be more important than you know now, though aim to combine both to your best advantage over the next 6 months. You might do something new with old friends, or invite associates into your current crew to pump up the energy. With an eclipse added bonus, there could be someone or something you've overlooked in the past, and this is as yet unknown factor could turn out to be the catalyst for one or more of your dreams come true. And Pisces. It might seem like an odd time to boost your career, but this month's new moon makes it the best time to make your move when everyone else is distracted, winding down, or partying. You might choose to step up a rung or two on the career ladder, or circumstances may force you into an unexpected role, one that you'd rather resist at first, that in the long run could turn out to be the best move you could have made. Eclipses often have that life-correcting effect. This doesn't have to be a major shift, but even a minor alteration in your work patterns will ultimately change your world in a good way. Think about the long term, not overnight success. And you could be in an altogether different and better working situation by May 2022. So thank you. May the new moon in Sagittarius with a solar eclipse activate you in positive ways and allow you to release what no longer serves you. I offer coaching sessions in English, Spanish, Finnish, and Italian. You can get in touch with me at lauracoaching@gmail.com. And my website is laurarenenkoski.com. My Wake Up to Your True Potential YouTube series, the link is there. That's a series where I interview amazing people from around the world on how to wake up to your true potential. And please subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends. Help me to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So I will stop sharing now and I'll stop the recording.